I will be showing you how to test a power supply using a dummy load. Um, I'm going to be testing this power supply right here, and if you've looked around on like Amazon or eBay or some online store, you'll find these a lot. They offer around 12 volts, slightly adjustable, and supposedly higher amps. But these things are notorious for being a piece of crap. So this one is rated 12 volts at 3.2 amps, and we are going to be testing that, if it's capable of 3.2 amps. I'm basically going to be using that power supply with a Pico PSU to power this mini ITX board for my suitcase laptop project. I've got it mounted, or the display mounted, and hopefully you'll see that working in a future video. But for today, I'll be using this dummy load that I made. It is basically 4 1K resistors, 2 in series, and then those 2 series sets are in parallel with 2 MOSFETs, which you can see squeezed in between the heatsink. And it uses this Xbox 360 piece of crap CPU clip, and just a bunch of bodged wires going to this PCBA Ghetto milled out of using a Dremel. 10-turn pot, little crappy display thing. I have it trimmed right there, and it's got a little LM324 so for the constant current kind of thing. Okay, and this is some power brick I made using a laptop brick thing. I basically gutted it, took out the 19 volt SMPS, and just put a small 12 volt SMPS in there with a big Molex plug thing and a switch. It's fused, so basically it's built for this dummy load, so you can test out power supplies and stuff. So I'll turn it on. The fan turns on. It's set right now all the way down at 0 ohms, or 0 amps. And right now I need to trim this so that it is at exactly 12 volts, which I will be using, or it's got to be within spec of the 12 volt ATX for my needs. So I will be trimming it to around, it's supposed to be 11.7 to about 12.4, so I'll leave it at exactly 12. And on my oscilloscope right here, I have it set to 2 volts per division, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay, that's a little above 12. Actually, it's not. There we go. So we'll start cranking up the amps, and when I turn up the amps, you'll see lots of ripple. Well, you should hopefully not see lots of ripple. So I wish I could two-shot this. I will dial in some amps. So I'm increasing it now. I'm at about 200 milliamps, 300 milliamps. It's starting to dip. You can see it. But on the voltmeter, the RMS, it's still pretty good. It's still at 12 volts. It's starting to get a little fuzzy at around 1 amp. And we're at 1.1, 1.4, 1.5. It's still doing good. 1.7. 2 amps. We're still holding on pretty decently. The voltmeter is at 12 volts. We're doing 2.2 amps. I don't really hear any noise coming from the power supply other than the fan coming from my dummy load. Crank it up some more. It's supposed to hit 3.2 amps. So we're at 2.7. There's some ripple, but it's not a big deal. Put a big ass capacitor that'll fix that problem, maybe. We're at 3 amps, 3.1, 3.2 amps, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 amps, 3.6, 3.7. We're getting around 11.97 volts at 3.8 amps. The dummy load resistors are not, they're okay. MOSFET is not very warm. That fan does a great job. 3.9, 4 amps. Ooh, and it's starting to smell. No, it's not. A little bit. We're at 4 amps. It's definitely done 3.2 amps. I'm lowering it back down, 2.8 amps. It's doing well. So, and let me just, sorry guys, bring this back down. I don't want to go too far because I might end up killing something, and I heard something snap. Oh, that's just my oscilloscope probe. Sorry. Ooh, I thought I broke a ceramic resistor for a second. I have plenty of spares, but I would like to not break any. It's just my little BNC thing. 500 milliamps, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I want to make a higher gains, like a 10-to-1 kind of gain, so that way I get higher resolution. But yeah, this power supply was capable of doing the full 12 volts at 3.2 amps. These wires are a bit warm. I usually use heavier gauge wires, but for this, they did the job. So yeah, this one right here, a S4012 power supply, did great. It went beyond its expectations, and it had minimal drift, around 0.3 volts when it got above its rated requirements, or its rated output. So yeah, this one works great. When I tested it before, it seemed like it was pretty shitty, but it's actually doing well. I don't know what the long term is. This dummy load is only meant for short term, if it's above 4 amps, short term stuff. But yeah, anything above or below 4 amps, this thing can handle its own for a very long time. I had it running for hours once. But yeah, so that's basically how you test out a power supply using an adjustable dummy load. You want to check your ripple on your oscilloscope, or if you don't have an oscilloscope, check it with your multimeter. Hopefully one that doesn't have too much, that'll constantly measure really fast. This one is an automobile one, so the RMS thing is it's weird. Another way to test for ripple is to put say a speaker on the output with some resistors, and then you can hear the ripple. When there's no ripple, it'll just be quiet. When you hear ripple, it'll start going like bzzz. So that's basically how you test one of these. I've done it with this power supply and this power supply to test it, because I built this one, and yeah, it handles very well. And that's basically it. If you want to learn how to make one of these, comment below, and I'll probably make a tutorial and share the schematic. Thanks for watching.